How do you know you have a problem? See if any of these situations ring a bell. Initiative proliferation. How many initiatives do you have? How many of you actually completed over the past year? If you have a large and unwieldy list of initiatives, that's not good. Thinking too big. Can you really bite off some of these initiatives? Are you focused on one big initiative and there's really just a small likelihood that you're going to be able to get through it in the near term? Starving the kids. Are you throwing 100% of your resources at a single initiative? Or is your existing core business, is it getting 100% of your attention while new business initiatives, they're not getting any attention? Random initiative generator. Are your initiatives just all over the board? Is there a common thread? Is there a common theme to your initiatives? Is there something that's focusing them on a singular end goal? So we've simplified strategic planning down to 3 core tenets. Set a clear direction and stay in a lane. This is about defining and communicating an overarching vision and goals for your organization. If you're changing the strategy, if you're changing your swim lane every 3 months, it's really tough to keep your team aligned. It's really tough to meet any sort of long-term goals. Say no to distractions. Typically, an organization generates a bunch of really cool, exciting ideas, and it's pretty easy to say, oh yeah, let's do that. That sounds cool. We can knock that one easily out, but these are all just distractions, and you've got to say no. As an example, Walmart trying to sell Tiffany diamond ring, that's probably not going to work. Nordstrom's trying to sell discount shoes, that's probably not a good fit. The third tenet is diversify your bets. You might identify a single initiative as your top priority, and that's great, that's fine. It could be really important, but typically a single focused initiative is not going to lead to a well-balanced portfolio. So strategic planning doesn't have to be complicated. In the following slides, we're going to walk you through simple tools which can support the strategic planning process. We're going to show how they're aligned with the 3 core tenets that we just talked about.
Have that vision and that direction and that mission. And by the way, it's 1 sentence. And your goals, there's 2 or 3. Strategies about knowing what you're good at and being maniacal about pursuing it. So when we work with clients, we talk about core competencies and things that you do better than anybody else. And the way those core competencies play out is, by the way, it's 2 core competencies. It's not 20. You can't be good at 20 different things. Let's admit it. We're all, high achievers, but let's get some focus here. Pick a couple of competencies that set you apart from your competitors. And I'll go into an example in a little bit. But based on your strength in those competencies and the relevance of that competency to the market you're playing in, it helps define your approach to that market in that space. So if you have 2 competencies and neither of those is relevant in a specific market, don't play there. Okay? Stop. Just don't do it. Those competencies help you understand where you have distinct advantage and how you can exploit it vis-a-vis your competition. And again, it's hard to be great. This is true greatness that we're talking about. It's hard to be great at more than 2 things. I've had conversations with clients where we actually went through the acquisition target list and we had defined the core competencies that hadn't previously been really clearly defined. And as we're going through the acquisition list, the CEO actually looked at one of the acquisitions that he had been interested for a long time. He said, yeah, I need to kill that right now. Because it was so clear, he had had some angst around it previously and didn't really understand why, but I think we should do this, but something's not right. Those competencies put it into focus and it was really clear. We should not be messing with that right now. Okay, so, and that'll apply to products, that'll apply to markets, acquisitions, et cetera. And as you start looking at these markets and services and products through the lens of the competencies, magic happens. Okay? It becomes really clear this is the turf that we need to defend and be better than anybody else. And if you want to enter that market, it's over my dead body and I will make you pay the price to come compete there. Other things, I should not be messing with it. This becomes very clarifying when you look at those core competencies. It helps you say no. Okay?
have your long list of acceptable initiatives that have been through the filtering process. And now you need to say, okay, how do I prioritize these? Which ones can I really accomplish? And so it's layering on top of that the organization's strategic goals and financial goals, and there you have your prioritization. And then you can draw your line. And it's important to remember that once you've drawn the line, work on the projects above the line, and you shouldn't work on the ones below the line until maybe you've accomplished all the ones above the line, or you've reprioritized them, or you've added resources. Last but not least, remember that strategic planning needs to be tied very closely to people planning. Strategy drives the initiative drives the org structure, and the org structure is going to determine the HR and resource planning requirements. You could have the greatest strategic plan in the world, but if it's not aligned with the HR and the people planning pieces, you're going to fall flat on your face. A lot of times you'll see that the people in an organization drive the initiatives, and the initiatives drives the strategy. Does that sound familiar? That's not a good recipe.